Wherever you go, doesn't matter what you do, you can't hide, there's no escape. No amount of fun that will keep you long enough to forget all your troubles. We're just running from ourselves in the end.
Spark Infinity, how are you? Welcome to another mini Spark. Today we've got Vice President of Artist and Label Partnerships at Intercept Music, Jesse Flores. Jesse, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, David. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I know you've got a long history in music, and I'm just wondering, what was the transition to Intercept Music like, and how did that come about?
It's been great so far. So yeah, I've recently joined Intercept Music a few weeks ago. I've known the co-founders, Ralph Tashian and Todd Turner, for a few years now. And we've always, had great conversations, and, I've always been at another company, and I've seen the business grow over the years. And last year I happened to become a free agent, and it just seemed like the right time, that they're building, their independent distribution company, whereas a lot of the majors are consolidating. So it came to a point where in my career it made the most sense to join a company like Intercept to help them grow their business.
That's great. So it's in personal alignment with what you're looking to accomplish. And what would you say is your mission, or what are you looking to accomplish?
I want to, find the right artists and labels to join the company to really help us grow their business, grow our business, and really make an impact. The reality is, at the end of last year, I think there was said that, 47% of the music business right now is from the independent sector, which is huge. It's a great time to be independent right now. And, no other place is better than Intercept. I mean, the service offering we have, the custom deals we're able to offer to our clients, I think it's a great opportunity now to really join a company that kind of fits in between like a DistroKid and a Virgin Music Group. There's that niche right there that I think is underserved, and Intercept is there to provide the right partnership.
Now, it can be a real slog and a really challenging industry for a lot of indie artists, maybe not all, but certainly many of them. Mm-hmm. What are the opportunities for independent artists nowadays with things changing so fast?
Well, I think as an independent artist, you can really build your own commercial fan base on your own. I mean, you can literally go out there, get your own distribution deal, and kind of build it through social media, through other commercial platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and just get that leverage to where you can make a decision. Okay, do I want to stay independent and find another partner that can really take it to the next level, or do I want to go to a major? And if you go to a major with leverage, having your own fan base, you can get the deal that you want. You don't have to sign that old school traditional record label deal where you're getting 10 to 20% royalty. You don't have ownership of the masters. If you stay independent, go through a distributor like Intercept, you have 100% creative control. You have ownership of your masters, and you can really work together with a team to devise a plan and release strategy to really take your career to the next level.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And when it comes to music distribution, there sure are a lot of options. It's not like it used to be, right? There was maybe a couple of providers for independent music, and now there's premium options, there's exclusive options, there's options that are now exploring NFTs and AI. What does Intercept offer artists?
I think where we can make a difference is that we can offer competitive deal terms. We are direct with all the DSPs. So we can, offer a really aggressive distribution fee. I think we can offer better service than a lot of our competitors out there. I hear a lot of horror stories about artists signed to a company and they, can't get anybody on the phone, or, they can't get a response on an email on something that's critical. Maybe, something wasn't delivered to Apple or to, Spotify, and they need to update it. People need answers, and, it's just, professional courtesy to get back to them in a timely manner. And I think the other thing that we can offer is a dashboard that is second to none.
Mm,
I've worked in the business for almost 30 years, and obviously you can upload your content and deliver it to all the DSPs through our dashboard, but you can also set up a merch store. We have an integration with Shopify, for one of your artists. We can also book digital advertising, outdoor advertising through our dashboard. We have an AI integration where when it comes to marketing, you can use our AI tools in our dashboard to actually put together the language you need for social media posts, or, say you have a release and a single coming out, you can put together a press release for that single using the AI in our dashboard. So little things like that that artists need and really could use to help, promote the releases.
yeah, I think some of the challenges you described are actually criminally common. We have a co-host, Jody. He hasn't shown up in a while on these shows, but he certainly had that experience of being an artist with a brand new, shiny release that he wanted to put out into the world, and then couldn't get anyone on the phone from anywhere to talk about his
Yeah.
distribution options and what that might look like. So I think
Hmm.
as a distributor, if you're providing that kind of thing, it would make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about on the label side? Like some artists want to remain independent. That's often what I encourage artists to do, unless there's a really good deal that comes across their table. But what about artists who want to sign with a label? Are labels actively looking for artists?
I think they are, absolutely, but they're not just considering, the music. Back in
Hmm.
the day when I first started, if you had really great music and you had, a core fan base, that's kind of all you really needed to get an A&R's ear and get in that circle and, perform a few gigs in New York or LA, and you could potentially get signed just off that. Now you got to have a social media presence. You ideally need to have a good team around you of people that your infrastructure, to help you get signed and get taken to that next level. And they look at the analytics now and all the metrics on top of just the music. So, and I think what's lost in that is artist development. The notion of taking an artist that may be new, but they're super talented. It might take 2 or 3 albums, to them for them to break through. But nowadays, they stick it against the wall, and if it doesn't stick, they're on to the next thing.
Yeah. Which is a real challenge. I think some artists, certainly unheard of now. It was even unheard of back in the day. But some artists, they developed for 5 albums even,
Yeah.
and gave them a really fair shake. And some artists proved to be totally worthwhile on that. Nowadays, you would have to dig for that kind of option, and it certainly wouldn't be with a major label. It might be with an indie label or an indie provider of some kind.
Hmm.
But I think in the major space, that's impossible. And in terms of music production, like we've come to the point where you've got sample packs. Like if you need a trap beat, why would you even start from scratch nowadays? You just take
Right.
what's there, maybe modify it slightly to fit your groove, and away you go. And you got AI tools to build your melodies for you. I mean, what are your thoughts on music production now? If you want to play guitar and drums and bass, that's a whole other thing, I think. But if you just want to pop together a hip hop jam or
Mhm.
or a saucy EDM tune, it's not that hard.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of clutter out there. I mean, the amount of tracks that are being delivered is ridiculous. I would have never thought, it would get to this point, but here we are, and there's, over 100,000 tracks being delivered to Spotify every day, but maybe only 1 or 2% would actually, get noticed or get any type of consumption, from the fans out there. So it's tough, and when it comes to creating music and producing music, that's not really my world, but at the same time I do appreciate the producers out there that are unique and have a different sound and are really creative and really try and make a difference out there and create music that they believe in and that the fans really take interest in.
Yeah. This might be a slightly controversial topic. I'm certainly of the opinion that music distribution is absolutely essential. Not only that, but a very convenient way to get your music out into the world. Even if it doesn't get instant attention, it certainly is a fantastic marketing tool. But what about the platforms that we're supplying the music to, right? And
Mhm.
again, I'm not dissing anyone. I'm not saying any of them are bad. I use many of them. I enjoy stuff like Spotify. Yet, what artists can make in terms of, or what they can expect in terms of royalties, generally not that great, right? So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's tough out there. I mean, that's been the main issue for the past 25 years is just, with streaming and digital, it's like you're getting pennies upon pennies, and it's not like it used to be when I first started in the 90s. You sell a CD or a piece of vinyl and you're getting dollars, you're getting a significant return on your art. And now it's just tough. You got to get in the millions to even really see some real money. So it's a
Yeah,
definite concern. But that's why you see a lot of artists really putting out a lot of content, and if you're strategic about it and doing it the right way, you can be very successful. But um, yeah, it's a crazy game now, as we all know, and it's constantly changing.
yeah, yeah, it really is. And it's not impossible to sell music, I've found out. And the main way to do that nowadays, I think, is to create a bundle, like an irresistible offer. As digital
Mhm.
markety as that is, and as much as artists might resist it, if you're willing to put together something thoughtful that your fans will actually enjoy, it could
Mhm.
be something as simple as like a signed photo plus a t-shirt plus a CD, or you could include a vinyl in a more premium kit or whatever. But I do see
Yeah,
that is something that's still very much viable. So it's kind of just thinking about it differently, that trying to sell a digital download or CD, there are so many out there. But if you
yeah,
bundle it together with other stuff, you kind of have something unique.
absolutely. Or even things like Record Store Day. People still go out to get those exclusives every year. You know,
Yeah,
people.
no kidding. Vinyl continues to remain. Now, some people are just talking about this now. I shared about this in my book, The New Music Industry, 10 years ago, saying, look, a lot of people are saying vinyl is like a blip on the radar, but year over year, it's growing. And I think in the last couple of years or so, we finally reached a point where it eclipsed CD sales. Isn't that crazy? Like, what's
That's crazy. Yeah.
going on with vinyl? Do you know anything?
Yeah, vinyl. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely on the way back for years now, and even like things like cassettes. There people are making limited runs of cassettes, even some
Mm,
CD packages, like you said, some type of deluxe CD package. Like if there's core fans out there, they're gonna want like any and everything they can get their hands on, and if you label it limited, they're gonna even pay a premium for it. And with vinyl, I mean, that's what you get. I mean, you're getting vinyl sales out there on units that are 40, 50, $60 that are quality, quality packaging and everything. I mean, and they keep it. Some of them don't even open the package. They don't even play the vinyl. They just keep it as a collector's item.
yeah. That's the other thing I've been hearing, that people don't just buy one, they buy two because they want to hold on to one as a collector's item, not open it and buy a
Yeah.
second one that they can play on their record player. So that's kind of a neat area for artists. Obviously, they'd have to have a release that's worth putting on
Hmm.
vinyl, because and you don't want people to buy it, otherwise it's not really feasible cost wise. But that would be a really key part. Jesse, do you have any tips for independent artists? Like in our group, we've got so many, and it's not just musicians either. We've got poets, and we've got visual artists and actors and actresses, various people in the entertainment industry. But certainly for musicians, do you have tips for independent artists?
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned earlier was, having a great team around you,
Mm,
and I like to call it the Fantastic Five because it encompasses five critical roles that you need to really, really take things to the next level. And one is to have a manager, a good manager that you trust. The other is to have a good entertainment attorney, not just an attorney, an entertainment one that knows the music business, like the back, up and down, just everything all around. Having a good distributor, which I know you mentioned as well,
yeah.
a good publicist, and also having somebody that is a really effective online marketing manager, social
Yeah.
media manager. Those five things, you're set up pretty well to have success. And you know what? It might not happen overnight, but you got to keep at it and be resilient because this industry is very competitive. And I also say put on your learning cap because it's also constantly changing. I've been in the industry for almost 30 years. I attended a conference last week, sat in on panels because I don't know everything. Everything's always changing, and I want to learn. I want to be a sponge, and I think your audience should be as well, so they know all the latest and greatest.
Absolutely. And that team takes time, and it may not even come together in the way that you hope it will.
Yeah.
But you have to have some clout as an independent artist. You certainly can't have a booking agent working for you without them, because their cut is 10 to 15%, something along those lines. If you're not making close to 5 figures a month, their paycheck's going to be pretty rough. Of course, they can manage multiple artists, but not too many agents just going to do it out of the kindness of their heart. And they're passionate about music. I've talked to a few. They love artists, but they kind of have to balance that with being able to feed their families too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's a long-term prospect. Love for you to share a little bit about your history as well. So how did you get into music?
So I think I knew early on in college that I wanted to be in the music business, and I didn't know how. I was in Florida, going to college at the University of Florida, and I was minoring in music performance. They didn't have like a music business major, and I played the saxophone. I'm like, I like this, but I don't want to do it as my career. So I happened to join Student Government Productions, which is basically an agency on campus. Run by students that brought artists to perform and guest lecturers to come speak. And that changed everything because I was exposed to a side of the business that I hadn't been prior. And, they had a pretty big budget to bring some big name acts. So they brought I was kind of in the urban music scene back then. We brought like Lost Boys and Redman and Notorious B.I.G. and all these artists that I listened to, Tribe Called Quest, Farside. And I was just like, this is what I want to do. And while I was at SGP, they used to get CMG magazine delivered. And I noticed in the wanted ads that one of the distribution companies, Polygram, was looking for a college up in North Central Florida. And that's where I was. So I immediately applied and I got the job like a month later. And it just took off from there. I started off as a college rep for Polygram. When I graduated, I had a job offer as a field marketing rep in Detroit and LA. And I chose to go to LA. And I've been in LA ever since, just climbing the ladder from college rep to marketing rep to sales rep. And then in 2004, I got a job opportunity to join EMI Music as their head of urban marketing. So I was able to get that gig. It was my first national job, and it was a game changer for me because from that, I was able to parlay into a job at EMI where I was doing label acquisition. So I was actively doing third-party deals with established artists at a time before there was, the Empires and a lot of these distribution companies, Two Lost, DistroKid. It's really just the majors. So we were doing deals with artists like Ice Cube and Raekwon, Five Finger Death Punch, Slash, and having success. They were very profitable. And I did that for a few years. And then a merger happened where UMG bought EMI. And unfortunately, I was a casualty of that merger. So at that time, I was kind of like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I joined a company called Lyric Financial based out of Nashville, which provided royalty advances for the music community. I did that for a few months. Then I got a call from Ingrooves. One of my good friends over there was leaving, wanted to know if I was interested in a position over there. And I was like, hell yeah. And I joined Ingrooves in 2014 to be head of product management for In Residence, which is their artist services division. And I was at Ingrooves for about 9-10 years until another merger happened. UMG bought Ingrooves and wanted to merge them with Virgin Music Group, which happened last year. So once that happened, I separated from the company, and that's when I started talking to Intercept, and we kind of ended up here, where I am now head of artist and label partnerships, and am very excited and happy with what the future will bring.
I think one key takeaway from your story, and I guess I'm kind of in a similar position now. I never even thought that I would be in traditional employment in any capacity. I've always been self-employed, freelancer, entrepreneur, community builder. And last year, as things kind of fell apart in my world, something came through and I got a contract in big tech. And now it's been a year and 3 promotions later.
Congrats.
And that's going to be Thank you. And that's going to be a door opener moving forward. And that like it's reflected in your story as well, because you had some of these big positions in major companies, and those will continue to be door openers for you. And for as entrepreneurs, it'd be like the one big client. For independent artists, it might be the one big venue or what have you. But if you can maybe figure your, like, I didn't plan it, so it's not like my life was all planned out, but
Yeah,
and you can't always plan it, but if you can figure that out, that one big client or one big opportunity, that thing could certainly lead to more.
that's right.
Yeah. Another thing that I wonder about a little bit, I don't know how much you know about sync placements and licensing. Is that something that you've had some experience with?
I have at Ingrews. I mean, our SIG department was a critical and vital part of our core business over there. I mean, syncs can change an artist's career.
Yeah.
It's just it's simple. I mean, you find the right brand for the right opportunity, and not only can you get paid, but the exposure you get is it's amazing. Like it's done wonders for a lot of artists. It's done wonders for artist catalog. You know, it's definitely a game changer, especially nowadays, for sure.
Yeah. And you don't even necessarily have to be known, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's just kind of the right music, right placement, right time. And
yeah, and it doesn't even have to be your song. It could be somebody else's song that you cover in a unique way that just takes off.
yeah. And we're seeing a lot more of that nowadays for
Mhm.
sure. Like, maybe it's a strategy. I don't really know. I haven't looked at it that deeply, but I have heard a lot of artists doing covers of even hit songs from 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And it's kind of funny because it's just they took the pop song and turned it into EDM, where they just, they did something kind of pretty simple or conventional with it, but they're sort of able to make it their own and grab attention. And I guess it's not unusual on places like YouTube and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
there's certainly kind of a movement towards that. Something else that I fairly commonly ask people who come onto this show, especially executives, entrepreneurs, and stuff like that, is like, is there any books that have helped you on your journey, or any other resources?
I mean, I've read industry books like Hitman and some of the main ones that people read, like all you need to know about the music business. But
Of
to
course.
be honest, it's the people you work with. Like I've learned so many things from people that I've worked with and coworkers, and I've always taken the time to listen to them and their stories, because they've been places I haven't been. They've met people I haven't met. They've know things that I don't know, and I think if you network and really just try and be in the right circles, opportunities can come around. You just right place, right time. I mean, that's really what happened with me in the music business. I can't imagine where I'd be if I didn't do some of the things I do. If I decided to stay home instead of go out that one night when I met somebody. I mean, it happens. You just have to be there, and I think that's one of the main reasons I moved from Florida to New York. I mean, I'm sorry, Florida to LA, is just to be in the mecca of the music business. It's either New York or LA, and it always has been from day one, and it still is. And now we're in an era where you can work remotely and do all that, but I still think it's important to go out to shows and go out to conferences and talk and meet people and have that face-to-face conversation.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, people have certainly made the biggest difference for me. I often share with artists because they're nervous or they're introverted, and I've been there too. We're all shy, so get used to it.
Yeah,
But like, anybody can go out there and shake a few hands, and I didn't have to shake hands with planet Earth to find my people.
yeah,
People who either invested in me or helped me get gigs or were band leaders, or they just had they were calling every available venue, and they just happened to find something that worked for me as a solo artist or as a duo rather than the band. And it was like 3 or 4 key relationships that kind of made that all unfold for me in the last city that I lived in. So I have to agree with that. Yeah, so having the right connections, that's definitely huge. How about your routine? Like, do you have a special routine you follow, or would you say like your day to day is just your day to day?
Yeah, I mean, usually what I do is when I get up and I turn on the computer, I always visit the same websites. It's like Billboard Biz, it's Hits, it's Music Business Worldwide,
Yep.
even some of the entertainment trades like Hollywood Reporter, Variety. Um, I always look at those first just to kind of see what the headlines are. And then I, go through all my emails. I try to plan my meetings either in the morning or early afternoon, just because in case there's anything urgent that comes up later on in the day, I have the time to actually address them, in the afternoon time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And music for me, my job is more like a lifestyle than a traditional 9 to 5. I mean, sometimes we get calls on the weekends, and you gotta to handle it, and it's fine. It just comes with the territory. I love it. I don't know if I can't see myself doing anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So you got the passion for it. When
Mhm.
I was writing my first book, The New Music Industry, my routine was somewhat similar, at least in the sense that I'd always be hounding Hypebot every day for the latest
Mhm.
news. And of course, they don't cover everything, but they cover enough things to help you kind of see or form a picture in your mind of what the industry is currently doing and what it
Yeah.
looks like. And it it definitely helped me connect those dots, I think, in a way that helped a lot of people. On that topic too, like technology, I guess it's going to be hard to predict, but do you have any thoughts on where things are going to be going with technology in the music business?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I just think that there's just going to always be some new platform that people decide to gravitate towards. I mean, now for discovery, I mean, it used to be YouTube was just the dominant driving force for discovery, but now it's TikTok. So,
Mm,
I don't know what's going to be next, but those two right there. And then AI, I don't know everything with AI, but, we actually have AI within our company, but for marketing purposes, to help out with with social media messaging and also with like the press side of things. But yeah, that's obviously a hot topic issue with a lot of the
mhm.
majors. Is just the AI creation, content creation side of things. It's really it's going to be a topic that they're going to be dealing with for a very long time.
Oh, no question. I think
Yeah.
there are certain efficiencies to be gained. There's no question. I think the hype is far ahead of where the technology actually is right now.
Mhm.
I say that as someone who works in AI every single day. A lot of people have like a deep trust in what ChatGPT tells them, and I say, you should Google this
Yeah.
because if it's concerning health, you could get the wrong advice. If it's concerning a specific region, it may
Yeah.
have no idea. If it's concerning current events, its training data is not up to date.
Hmm.
So there's all these factors that kind of come into play. And people come back to me and say, yeah, the math is not very good on this. And I said, yeah, I don't know why, but AI is not good at math. That's been my prevailing experience so far. So yeah, don't put too much trust in it. Use it for sure. And the other thing that I kind of wonder or ask a little bit, like just because AI can make music, and right now people are going, it's not that good and it's getting kind of better. But just because AI could make maybe a perfect sounding track down the line, what does that actually mean? Does that mean it crowds out human content? I don't know if that's like a cause and effect sort of scenario necessarily. And me personally, like how much do I want to listen to AI music? A lot of the lyrics are just nonsense. Which, yeah, I guess some of the human music is nonsense too,
I know, right?
especially nowadays. Uh, but that's just me. I
Yeah.
love music, but I can't get into
Yeah.
this new generation of baby sing and trap beats and yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to keep up too. Like I used to pride myself on like knowing what releases are coming out and being on top of it. Now, forget it. There's so many artists and so many. I just can't keep up. There's not enough time in the day.
That's true. Yeah, there's just way too much content, so there's
Mhm.
absolutely no way to keep track of it all. And my like I tend to enjoy There's the occasional pop song that I enjoy. There's no question, but
Mhm.
a lot of rock, a lot of hard rock, sometimes metal, some EDM, but like again, pretty selective. And it feels to me like the best era was actually around 2012, 2013
Mhm.
for that genre.
Yeah.
Uh, some classic funk, R&B, soul, of course, love that stuff too.
Mhm.
So, and that's what pop is ultimately based on, and I get it. But
Yeah.
yeah, some of the new creations, I just don't know.
Hmm.
Well, Jesse, do you feel like you got to talk about everything you wanted to talk about? Is there anything else we should cover?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, for any independent artists out there that are really, starting to get some traction and have a buzz, please check out our website, interceptmusic.com, or Instagram at Intercept Music Official, and reach out to us. We love to chat with you, and chop it up. If anything, at least get a conversation started. There's no hurt in that, and we're just in an exciting time. It's a great time to be independent. And I appreciate you for this opportunity to speak to you and your fan base.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Yeah. So, friends, interceptmusic.com. Be sure to check it out. Add it to your list of possible distributors. This one might be right for you. And especially if you're looking for some hands on work from human beings, it sounds like they got their stuff together. So, check out interceptmusic.com. Jesse, thank you so much.
Thank you, David.
And Spark Infinity, have yourself an amazing time.
Thank you.
Thank you.